deficit here. Crazy scenes right now in the NLC. They have swapped sides though. So they picked red side for game 1 as the highest seed they got to choose. They picked red side. After that loss, they have swapped. They now want to be on blue side. You can see the champions above are the champions that have been taken away, which does leave the question of what we want to perhaps prioritize here for Los Ratones. On the other hand, yeah, I mean, a lot of comfort was blown already in that first game.
It feels like it's a good point for Los Ratones to prioritize a good jungler for Velia. Because in previous game, Jankas did a lot of heavy lifting on that Xin Zhao. Having an early game proactive champion allowed him to have a lot of pressure onto the enemy and to secure objectives quite early in the game, which completely disrupted Los Ratones and put them off guard. So maybe right now putting Velia on something that is comfortable and maybe also very proactive in the early game could be a reason that Los Ratones decided to go blue side.
I was thinking Gwen makes sense because it's also a decent takeaway from Chachi, and Velia's played Gwen, but that gets banned, so we're not going to see that one. To be honest, my eyes are also turning towards the bot side of the map for Los Ratones.
That's it, yeah.
I think that Crowny has to, has
it's a flex.
stepping up to do here. Yeah. It's a flex hit for the Pantheon, but I think this is most likely the Velia Pantheon, right, in that jungle. So exactly as Solari was calling, getting some focus on that, and certainly more aggressive as a jungler than the Vi is. Georgia said it on the cast during the game. Like, there wasn't a lot of early game, like, actual scrapping and jungle focused plays.
Oh, Jankos.
And Pantheon can certainly do that.
Okay.
Yeah, right. That is a slam in from the Fury. That is a good. Wow, what a matchup! Pantheon versus the Fury.
I was kind of having Skane on the back of my mind because it's one of those champions Jankas pulls out when they want a pretty much guaranteed win. But I like Nefiri here because it's also a champion that you want at least to see a lot around the lanes. You want to see her a lot in those skirmishes, helping out our laners, securing some tower dives in the early game. And we have a Syndra for Norway. We were a little bit worried about Norway's champion pool going into Fearless draft, but Syndra was still available, and it's a good pickup for him.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
okay, it's secure then. No flexing on this one. Instant reveal. LR not flexing to the second phase of picks. It's interesting, but when we're talking about on the other side, Nord, the Syndra Nafiri, that's the setup. You have the setup to get the gang. If you get another setup on the top side, for instance, that might be big. Ambessa versus CHO'GATH. I mean, keep in mind, Ambessa does a lot of damage, but if you don't kill, CHO'GATH will heal.
Yeah. That sounds almost like poetry. Ooh, okay.
Think about it. Take some time. Take some time.
It's a little bit dangerous now because it's an opportunity for Los Ratones to ban directly versus Vizichachi and try to get rid of some champions that they want to see in his hands. But at the same time, I like the idea of securing Ezreal right now for Inax because it is a comfort pick for him, and you make sure that Crowny doesn't play Ezreal this way as well.
That is true, and I think Crowny's he's kind of running out a little bit of, well, not running out, that is a complete lie, but he's not as comfortable, I would say, now in his champion pool from what we've seen so far, right? Because it's always been Jhin. We've seen him on the Varus a lot as well. I was going to mention Kai'Sa, but that gets banned. Although I also I don't think Kai'Sa's a particularly good pick with this team comp right now. So yeah, you're really pinning Crowny now. I mean, he's got a wide pool and he'll be happy with whatever it is, like whether even if he just has to lock in that Sivir. He's gonna have to reach deeper, even though it's only game number 2.
I think that might be the answer, or might be the angle. You want to give that speed to CHO'GATH, to Pantheon, even Azir to put himself in different positioning on the middle of the team fight. So maybe Sivir could be an angle since Lucian, that aggression on the bot side, is also gone. Now you take away the Nautilus, you take away what? The Leona, for instance? Because all those engaged tools are disappearing, but Alistar is still available if you want to. Braum, just Leona Alistar. Yeah.
Is it Muff? Is it Muff? Crowny Muff? Is that where we're at here? Are we muffing it up?
What?
Because I can see an angle for that. I can see now. You're very familiar with the muff. Set sail, blah blah blah.
Oh god.
Blah, blah, that champion.
That's a misfortune. Myth.
Yes, myth.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to connect the lines, but yeah, thank you for the sound. It helped a lot.
Crowny, I'm feeling that he's going to be a muffer in this game, and he's an no, I shouldn't say that. It is the Alistar, as you predicted there, Archer, for Nord. A lot of disengage, a lot of staying safe here. You got to scatter the weak, you got jumping away for Ez, and you got that headbat. Headbat? Yeah, close enough. Okay. Are we getting prior in lanes? Are we pushing? Is that what this is about here? Okay.
Yes.
We've lost it.
And yes. We're bringing in a lot more mobility for Los Ratones than it could have been with pretty much any other AD carry pick for Crown, and I love it because it's at the same time additional safety and additional aggressiveness if you want to go into the enemy. So you can play this both ways. Very good pick up there. And Jan, I was thinking with those bans from Los Ratones, do you want to add some additional engage for your support in order to go in with Pantheon, with Azure, with CHO'GATH, but in the end they want to go for additional safety. And again, the idea here is the same as with Tristana pickup. You decide what to do with that champion, whether you want to play aggressive or if you have to play defensive.
Oh, we talked about get the leads and then split push. How do you stop a Trundle if he's ahead? Fox drop on the 1v1. Yes, you don't.
You don't?
It's
To CHO'GATH. Fine, you can do that. Take all his defenses, whatever. How the heck do you stick on anyone on Los Ratones? Azir ult? Janna ult? Tristana ult? Stun from Pantheon? Like, you name it, they have it.
They literally have every bit of CC. Every character on this roster has 1 or 2 bits of CC. No Way might find himself getting a little bit of damage put in. Velia has started Q and not W, so it doesn't have the lockdown onto No Way, but that is going to force No Way a little bit low. But ultimately, it is just going to be a little bit more of a chill start again. Although I say that Velia actually moving in, just placing a ward, will spot out where Jankos is. Chachi is going to have to make his way back as he was just covering the jungle. And that is going to be the end of the little invades and all of that action that could have broken out.
For a second, I was like, let's see if a lane swap's going to come through. I am truly traumatized. Truly and utterly traumatized. Went through an entire season, an entire year in the LPL where lane swaps were the norm. And right now I was like, what about a lane swap right here to get away from a Janna Tristana lane? It's not going to be the case. They are banned. Back to normal program schedule.
No more. Now, here's the interesting one, because Baus is probably going to have a bit of a harder laning phase. I mean, he has the has his passive for a fair amount of sustain, but Chachi already just getting a massive chunk of damage out of Baus. Baus can't even go near the wave, and that kind of damage done to you early is just enough to deny you from being able to really play the wave. So Chachi's going to be able to build up a pretty big lead already off the back of this one, and Baus is just going to have to kind of sit back and accept that this lane not going to be in his favor, especially when you look at the jungle, as Velia is moving bot side. So Baus is truly on an island up here, stuck with the troll.
Yeah, and BAUSSI kind of needs a redemption game, right? I tuned into Gator's stream just a little bit after the game, and it seems like a lot of the times he will take the blame. He'll be like, sorry guys, it's on me, like truly not even as a meme, right? And I'll try to do better for next game, and that's exactly what he said after game 1 as well, as I've seen him miss like 3 CS here, I believe. So this is probably the Baus redemption arc game if he can versus Chachi's Trundle. Trundle is a bully. He's pretty good at trading early on. His auto attacks really do help. He's got pretty good sustain as well. And CHO'GATH does really need those early items to start getting going, get a little bit more tanky, grab those first feast stacks as well from his ultimate. So far Chachi has been taking pretty good trades on him.
Yeah, I mean, you are seeing these when you've got the Vorpal spikes up and he gets like he procs the Hail of Blades. It's actually pretty brutal. Like, he can do a lot of damage. Now, Chachi will find Baus. Baus gonna step forward. He's got himself the Hail of Blades damage down. Like, the attack speed he gets and how much damage Vorpal spikes do, it's really, really big. Massive chunk out of Chachi's health bar. Baus is going to continue to look for him. He has the flash. The pillar comes down. Looks for the knock-up. Not going to make the connection as Chachi can't actually reset yet.
Jankos.
Oh, no. Baus going to have to probably go for the flash here. Can he find the silence? Jankos goes for the chase. Able to just use the W to evade. Baus is dodging Qs left and right, and he's able to make his way to safety.
All right, one flash down. And Jankos was pathing towards the top side of the map, so he doesn't care too much. Velia is actually heading towards the top side because Nemesis has the priority mid lane. The TP is going to come through from Baus as well, so I think Jankos should just dash out the pit straight away.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to jump away to safety. Velia flashes after him there. There's going to be the W from Jankos as he flashes over his wall. Flash for flash traded. BAUSSI actually doing some serious damage to Chachi. Hellblade's CHO'GATH apparently goes real hard here. Pillanan's in onto BAUSSI as now Jankos makes his way forward. Hasn't got that knock-up quite available yet for BAUSSI as he's looking just to put as much damage out as possible. Finds the stun, misses the knock-up. Velia's coming over, throws the Q down as the dogs eat most of that one. Lots of action towards the top side, Trouble.
Yeah, a little bit of back and forth towards the top side. The real losers here are Velia, BAUSSI, and Jankos having to commit their flash. So I feel like Chachi, for the time being, feels pretty confident walking up, taking trades, maybe overextending even just a little bit on this lane. I'm a little bit worried right here because Velia didn't take a reset after all this. He's actually continuing to clear the jungle as Jankos has already gone back. He's grabbed his pickaxe. He'll continue his clear, and to be fair, if any fight was to break out, or a skirmish, or a fist fight, or whatever it is, Jankos would have the upper hand with the extra items. BAUSSI!
BAUSSI just goes down. First blood for Chachi. A lot of disrespect, and Chachi playing around the bush as well.
Oof. Talk about a redemption game right here. Not quite, at least at the beginning. And this is a little bit worrying, right? Chachi and Trundle, in general, is a very trade-heavy type of champion that likes to stat check you, particularly in the early game and on the 1 to 2 item spike as well. And now he's got his Tiamat as well. So he's going to be able to actually shove waves really quickly on the top side of the map and potentially roam around. We know that Chachi really does like to roam from the top lane as well. Jankos is going to play around that top side of the map. The second set of Void Grubs, the first set of Void Grubs is going to spawn around that top side. And with that pickaxe in the inventory, Jankos should feel pretty confident to play for some sort of skirmish or a 2v2 towards the top side of the map. Level 6 for Chachi.
Not going to use the subjugate yet. BAUSSI going low. There's the subjugate, the flash in. He's got Tiamat. He's got the lockdown damage. BAUSSI is going low. Finds the knock-up. Chachi is sent packing, but Jankos is coming in, and there's a wave crashing up onto BAUSSI. BAUSSI be able to sustain some of this with his passive, throws the silence down, looks for the knock-up. He's just trying to hold the wave away, but Jankos making his way over, able to clear out that wave in time. BAUSSI is level 6, doesn't get enough damage from the feast onto Chachi, as down he goes. Jankos secures the kill.
Very, very well played from NORD. I feel like the whole concept of don't gank for BAUSSI, he's gonna die, but he's gonna come back. Right here, it's sort of irrelevant, because Jankos is ganking him on timers. Talking about timers, Velia.
They find the knockback. Velia, he's got the stun available for No Way, keeps him pinned in place. As that is one dead Syndra. Velia secures the kill.
Good punish right there. No Way overextended in a bush that wasn't his, ends up getting punished. You're most likely gonna be seeing us. I feel like right here, on the Titanic Hydra spike, I don't think anyone can patch Chachi at this point. However,
Ravenous,
I feel like he's going Ravenous. Okay, never mind. He's gonna go for the heavy hitter build. Nemesis is gonna be pretty fine versus the Trundle later on because you can evade by dashing onto your soldiers, and you also have your ultimate to double down if he gets too close, right? So I feel like at least right here, Los Ratones do have an answer in terms of that side lane pressure with that Trundle. You can bounce waves back and forth. CHO'GATH, once he gets a few points into his abilities as well, he can pretty much one-shot waves, right? With QEW using the whole kick right there. It's pretty easy. BAUSSI is stuck. He's stuck.
He's
Not
caught
like
in
this.
place. I believe he doesn't really have any backup. Velia has ultimate, but I don't think it's even worth it. He's putting some damage into the dog, though. Knockup goes wide. Jankos secures the kill and the feat of warfare on the side of NORD.
I've watched too much LPL to know what an Afiri with 2 kills in the early game can do.
Yeah.
This champion is absolutely busted, and right here, Jankos has had a phenomenal early game. Again, those ganks have been on clear timers towards the top side of the map and completely avoidable. I feel like BAUSSI has kind of like fallen for the trap right here, and the top side of the map has been the beneficiary right here from the side of NORD. Not even 1,000 gold in the lead right here, because if you look towards the bottom side of the map, in terms of CSing, I mean, 90 CS at 8 minutes. Nemesis choving over in the mid lane on the Azir. And I feel like this is the win condition for the side of Los Ratones. Play towards the Tristana, play towards the Azir. Try to get the Azir strong enough to the point where you can have him on the side lane versus Trundle if you need to, but you can also pull him in for teamfights as well.
Right now, BAUSSI has been pulled away from that top side. The attention has shifted out, but NORD have reacted, and they've sent their bot lane up towards the top side as well. So the 1v1 continues to be in favor of the Trundle. versus CHO'GATH as Inax is getting shoved in under early here. Jankos does have ultimate. Nemesis needs to be careful now. Bot top side, we do see Crownie going a little bit low, but back into the mid. Nemesis gets forced out. Jankos doesn't commit ultimate. Just gets a bit of a chunk out as now Baus getting jumped onto. Misses the knock-up. Chachi with the King's Domain has so much move speed. It's actually very hard to hit that knock-up onto him.
Ego Fleet as well right there. So it's really difficult to pin down that Trundle, and it's actually pretty helpful right here for Chachi, because he needs to be able to dodge those really, really quickly. As no way he's found Nemesis. He's going to hit the Skyro the Wicked, that's about it, but they're engaging on him.
They've used the Grand Starfall, it's going to come over. They put the wall between. There's going to be the knockback, there's going to be the lockdown. Velia, the one to secure the kill again. Nice little pick up onto the mid there. No way goes down for a second time.
These feel a little bit like solo queue mistakes, I want to say, from No Way. Walking up just to hit a Q onto Nemesis doesn't really justify walking into Fog of War when you haven't seen Velia for a while, when you don't really know exactly where he is on the map. And if I'm not wrong, I think they even had a word inside that pit that Velia was in, so you gotta respect the fact that Pantheon has that semi-global presence and not overextend. No Way has overextended twice. And the first time it cost his flash and his life, and the second his life as well, so No One needs to be a little bit more careful, because right now this Pantheon's got 2 kills.
Chachi uses ultimate. Baus thought he had the drop on him, but Chachi with a subjugate forces Baus to go for the flash. Meanwhile, we are going to see Los Ratones, their bot lane is also bleeding out. Like, it is getting a little bit dire. Chachi definitely looking quite strong here. Baus walks up, gets caught out. There's a pillar, there's a knock-up available. Chachi's just looking to run Baus down, catches him in the pillar. Baus feasts for a bit of extra health, but it's not going to be enough. That's got another kill secured over to Chachi. 2-0 on the Trundle. Definitely starting to get a bit dicey for them over here.
And he must be getting really, really close to his first item as well, as Reckless and Crownie are trying to do damage control on the other side of the map, trying to get as many terror platings as they can. Anyone but that CHO'GATH is having a pretty good time, and I will say what all people will say about Baus, he'll come back. He's just playing the tank, you know, eventually he will be a problem, and even if he's not, like, who cares? Chachi was gonna shred his defenses anyway with this Trundle, so he's just gonna be that nuisance on the side lane. Talk about nuisance on the side lane, we have hot dogs.
Yeah, well, he gets caught by the knock up the pillar, but Jankos jumps in. Baus, he has a bit of armor, but it's not gonna be enough. Jankos is on a killing spree. Chachi completely dominating this lane. Looks like we might see something mid though. No Way, unaware. Grand Starfall coming up momentarily as Dog comes forward. Just get a little bit of damage off.
But this is so unavoidable. Like, if you look at the wave, he's pushing towards No Way, and No Way ends up overextending again. I feel like the Los Ratones have really pinned down that one lane that they can actually abuse to grab some kills back from NORD. And unfortunately, it comes from No Way. I feel like he's overstepped one too many times. He's burned his flash twice, then they capitalized on that with the kill. So this time, now that No Way is again flashless, he really needs to start paying respect to this Fog of War, and especially when that wave is pushing towards you. There's absolutely no need to overextend and punish right there. He's doing it again. He's doing it again.
They're going to look to put the damage down. Nemesis doesn't have ultimate though, so it's just going to be a big old chunk. Jankos puts some damage into Velia. Out comes the shield from Velia to make sure he doesn't lose too much damage. Jankos already doing a fair amount of damage with that Spear of Shojin in his inventory. First tower's already sorted as well there for the Norders. Chachi's now going to move up towards top side. This Trundle is a monster. He's got himself the Titanic Hydra, another Vamp Thector, and the Boots of Swiftness, and the upgraded Boots of Swiftness off the back of, well, not fully upgraded, but they're partially upgraded through the feats.
You know what? I just realized that NORD team spikes so well on 2 items for every single one of their champions. So I feel like if they can actually manage to snowball that early game, they could win out super hard if they can get to push their advantage on those 2 item spikes. Yeah, because again, like, where are we gonna find him towards the top side? Of course, that dragon went down, and right here, Baus knows what's coming for him. Really clever to try and push out that wave as fast as possible. And Chance is gonna go into Baus mode, and he's gonna be the one proxing. Here's the diving bot.
They're attacking bot. Inax is low. He gets bot back, and I think that's enough for Crownie to secure the kill. Nice pick up there from the side of NORD. They should be able to finish this tower off, although Nash is actually being a bit of a menace. Gets some damage off using the help of the tower. The problem is top side. We probably want to be looking up there because Chachi has now joined up with Baus. So this tower's under threat, but top lane Baus is going incredibly low.
Just cleared out the wave.
Chachi, Subjugate's already been used. Baus, don't think he's going to be long for the Worlders. There's Chachi securing the kill, and that will probably be a second tower for the side of NORD.
But look at them over in the bot lane. Baus died knowing that Chachi was taking that trade on him, but he pushed out this wave, which means that Chachi now has to wait for the next wave to push out so then he can take that tower. And the first tower has already dropped down bot lane for Los Ratones as Nemesis trades out positively right here into Jankos' Naafiri. And if I can talk a little bit in TFT terms, if you guys are aware, QSS in TFT, Quicksilver Sash, stops any incoming CC for the first 16 seconds, I want to say. It might be wrong, but it's 10-something seconds of the combat. Chachi wishes he had that QSS in this particular game because he's very strong, but his sticking power onto Los Ratones is going to be absolutely minimal. We talked earlier on about all the ultimates that they have to push him away. Hold on for a minute, though.
Nemesis gets caught by the flash, the pulverize, gets the flash away to safety himself. And NORD, they get a bit of damage off, but Nemesis was able to put that tower down in time. He could have gone down otherwise.
All right, really good gank right there over on the top side as well. Nash, again, on point on this Alistar. They haven't necessarily really managed to capitalize into that bot lane. Of course, Ezreal, Alistar into Tristana, Janna. Like, Tristana, Janna pushes any time, so they weren't very vocal. And talking about how vocal they are, 1.3k up for Crownie onto this Tristana. He had a really rough game onto that Jhin. He wasn't able to capitalize on any kills or any early game pressure, but right here on the Tristana, he actually has the tools. They've transitioned him over in the mid lane as well, and they're going to Chachi.
Well, Chachi is very tanky, but again, we talked about how he's actually relatively useless versus the full Los Ratones lineup. You already saw Crownie with one item jumping into his pocket and doing a lot of damage. Now, luckily for Chachi, he has a lot of lifesteal, so he's back to full HP already. As Baus has now shoved that bot lane up and is now moving to rotate into a potential fight here. Crownie jumps forwards, Jankos has to jump over the wall. They're waiting for an opportunity. Nemesis doesn't have flash, so he can't get a big flash shuffle off. So I think it's just going to be onto this Rift Herald and see if they can bait NORD into a fight that maybe they don't want to be taking. Ultimates are up on everyone here for the side of Los Ratones, including that Feast on the Baus. So it's going to be quite hard to secure. Velia going to be able to pick up the Grud. NORD, are they looking to go for the fight a little bit further? They are chasing forwards. They get a scatter off on the Baus, but I think that's going to be all they can achieve.
Yeah, I feel like Los Ratones right here, so no way down the bot lane. He had super low mana, so they knew he'd have to reset first and then TP in the fight. If he chose to TP for that fight, was the case later on. But right here, I feel like NORD are playing Spectator mode.
Nash has been caught. Crownie's putting the damage in. The ultimate's pretty big for Nash to keep him going for the moment, but Nemesis will be shut down by Jankos. Velia's on the backline. They're able to take out Nash. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but Velia's incredibly low. In comes the ultimate from Jankos. A great block with the E, and in comes the Monsoon to keep him going. Crownie flashes forwards. One more auto is all he's going to need. Can't find the reset. Los Ratones fire back.
And they're going to pop that Rift Herald over in the mid lane as well. This is going to be mid lane tower guaranteed for Los Ratones. Gold still about 1,500. But primarily all this gold is sitting in Chachi's pocket, who's all the way up the top lane. So Los Ratones are taking full control of that mid. Someone reset, please.
No, they can't.
Press B. Press B.
Reckless with the tornado just to be a nuisance to no way and slow. Oh, it was Inax, sorry. Slow is back down. Is that... Oh, Nash. You're not going to smite that one away, Nash. You're a support. Is that... Let's have a look at the fight once again.
Yeah, right here, I feel like as a NORD are playing Spectator mode right here. No way flashes through, but there's no flash onto Alistar, so they end up going down. There's nothing to fight right there. Maybe you can take some control into enemy jungle, but who cares? There's no creeps up. Chachi had already pushed that wave up top lane, so it's pretty much a non-needed fight right here from NORD, running into Los Ratones territory that they have absolutely no vision of. So it ended up backfiring for them, and they burned flash onto Syndra yet again. Now Nash and No Way, they're waiting there.
Looking for a potential pick. Not going to find it, though. Meanwhile, they've actually sent Nemesis up to go deal with Chachi on the top side. As the dragon spawns up, Nemesis and Chachi both have teleport. In comes a True Shot Barrage. Knockup doesn't hit onto anyone, and Baus is low. Silence is not going to be enough. Inax secures the kill. Teleport from Nemesis. Making his way over. Chachi now going to be a little bit late to that punch on the teleport himself, but the man advantage is still NORD's. Velia I don't think he wants to go for the hero play. Just going to throw a Q out, and it was damn close. I'll give it to him. It was damn close, but not close enough.
I wish Chachi hadn't TP'd, but there was no wave over on the top side of the map. It had already been burned out by Nemesis before he TP'd into this fight. So even if Chachi remained over on the top side of the map, there wouldn't really be much he'd be able to do. He'd have to wait for the next wave to push another tower. However, by TPing in, you pretty much guaranteed a 4 versus 5 in favor of NORD, and Los Ratones pretty much threw the white flag right there. They couldn't fight that 4 versus 5, and Baus is so squishy. He's gone for more of the mobility build again with the dead mans, but it currently is just not enough because that Nafiri is super fed. Chachi is also super fed as well, so the 80 damage coming through plus the shred from that cleaver in Jankos' inventory is really hurting that CHO'GATH.
Yeah, when you got a 0-7 CHO'GATH, it is quite rough for you on the side of Los Ratones. Now, I will give Los Ratones this. This is my little copium take for our LR fans. The gold is actually closer in this game, even with everything, than it was last game. There's definitely more of a chance, and you look at people like Nemesis and Crowley, I feel like they're actually able to have more impact than last game. Last game, they kind of just were not able to play the game at all. As Velia is caught by a scatter the week from Noe and a second Q, but he'll be okay. Atakan's going to get started up. It's not the revive Atakan, it is our Roses Atakan here. As Jankos is making his way over, looking to see if he can try and potentially steal or force this one away, but he may get himself caught by the knock-up. Has to use the W to break away. Crowley putting some damage down. Scatter the weak, not going to hit. Atakan half HP. Los Ratones are going to get forced off. Chachi does a 180 as he decides to run away from this one. I think the action has cooled off for a second.
Yeah, the second Los Ratones took their hands off of that Atakan, Chachi insta B-turned for that mid lane wave. Baus had already followed him all the way from that bot lane, and I feel like even though usually within teams, it's any other team, but Los Ratones chasing that top laner, right here, Baus has had to respond to Chachi this entire series. Chachi has been an absolute menace on a side lane. He's been an absolute menace in these team fights, and just the pure threat of a level 15 Trundle walking up to a level 11 Tristana or Janna is more than enough to dissuade any situation that Los Ratones are trying to start. He was 3 levels up on Baus before Baus just cashed in on that wave.
Yeah, that is genuinely terrifying. Velia looking to see if he can make his way over onto Chachi. Chachi will get spotted out by the Scryers. So he's just going to lob down the King's Domain and get out of there. Chachi playing a lot of respect here because when you're this fed, especially on something like Trundle, there is that kind of like innate instinct just to kind of mindlessly shove waves and take towers, but like he is waiting for a reason to do that. He's waiting for something to pull the team away, so he knows that he's at least in an isolated 1v1 with Baus.
Yeah, and also he has a pretty beefy shutdown on top of his head as well.
Yeah.
Something like that, Pantheon would love to get that money. Grab that second item, which is very crucial. As you can see, he has fallen just a little bit behind to that Nafiri as he's heading back to base right now. He should be close to his second item, if not completing it right here. I'm smelling a black cleaver coming through for Velia as he leaves the base right here, and it is going to be the case. Now NORD, they are looking to establish some vision towards the top part of the map, but they should be primarily focusing their attention towards that bot side. It is going to be Dragon. Reminder, that was their win condition in that game number 1 as well. And right here with Los Ratones having the primary 2 dragons in the game, you do want to stop the dragon stacking from Los Ratones to actually get a win condition done for yourself by stacking them up.
Alrighty, well, Los Ratones still on that back foot. The gold lead very minimal, but I don't think the gold lead really tells the story of like pressure right now. And that's going to be the major thing. Is Chachi, I actually think he can just solo this. He's got double lifesteal items. He's actually upgraded his Swifty boots as well. They do spot him out with the Scryers, and I think that's enough for Chachi to back off.
It's like Master Yi.
He is unkillable.
If you've got a Master Yi in solo queue, and suddenly you don't have vision of Baron, Master Yi could be soloing Baron. That's the exact situation right here with Trundle too. Yeah.
He's on Atakan again. Inax is just getting some damage off on the Crowley, even through the shield. The Atakan not actually getting too low. Looks like Chachi is actually playing respect here, deciding it's not worth the risk. He knows that he can shove out this lane and just continue to apply pressure this way. Now level 16. His ult is maxed. Like, that subjugate is huge at this point. Throws the pillar down onto Baus. Doesn't know where the rest of the team are. And Los Ratones, they're rotating the whole team up. So Chachi, very respectfully, does reset off and decide to leave. But the dragon is on the table. And with a fed Chachi, you know this Atakan can also go down.
He's 5 levels up on Reckless.
It's so
He walks up to Reckless. He'll just 3-shot him. We're very scared of all the peeling that comes through from the sort of Los Ratones, but if you kill them in 3 shots, then there's not going to be no peeling done. And going towards what looks like it's Deadman's Plate as his 3rd item for a little bit more mobility. Chachi is now going to push another wave top lane. He does have TP to join his team right here. And this is probably going to be the closest fight Los Ratones will get. 2 items completed all across the board, and they are first in the river as well.
Yeah, they're going to look to start this one up. The problem is topside Chachi's killing Baus. He's able to take him down. NORD now forcing their way through. The Scatter of the Weak hits. That's going to be the dragon secure, but the kill onto the ADC is absolutely decimating for the side of Los Ratones. They have to make the way out. They lose the tier 2. Chachi is into the base. Look at the attack speed on this guy. He is going to melt through towers. Chachi, he doesn't need minions. Down goes the inhibitor tower. Nemesis is coming over. King's Domain's up. Nemesis chases forward, gets the shuffle back. Chachi's trying to stay alive, but I think he will fall. The sustain is not there. Shut down to Nemesis.
I feel like this is the time if Los Ratones really want to be in the series.
He's caught. They're going for the chase. They found the ultimate on. The Qs are connecting. And Jankos will take the kill. That is going to be Baron for the side of NORD. There's no way Los Ratones can defend versus this.
Oh my god, Los Ratones are getting dizzy. Chachi's making them dance circles around him. Let's watch this one more time. As the dragon's going down by Los Ratones and they will secure it, Chachi gets a solo bolo onto Baus. This is supposed to be their tank in the front line for Los Ratones, and it goes down to Chachi. Chachi still holds that TP, but his team tells him not to do it because they've got that one under control. It's not quite yet going to be that Baron actually for NORD. They needed the resets right here. Extra items too, but Reckless might get caught.
He's on his own. He does have Monsoon. Oh no, he doesn't have Monsoon. Teleport's coming in as well. Nemesis making his way over. In comes Chachi. As an open inhibitor, there's a Baron. Chachi, Hole Breaker now finished up. I think the attention right now will just go towards Atakan.
Keep rain. Keep rain.
Go on.
I will say this, just for the sake of the series, this is unlosable by NORD. They are at such a good spot. This is unlosable.
Well, Chachi, he's going to test that Fury, jumps into Baus's pocket, has that subjugate, he's going to throw it down onto him. Baus is just being melted, Atakan has been secured. Baus finds the knock-up on the Chachi, but he is already chunked. The slows are pretty big. Chachi's going to be able to break away for the moment as Los Ratones don't lose a member, but now Baron is on the cards. They need to be so careful.
I feel like right here, it's time for Nemesis and Crowny to really, truly step up. All this chovying that Nemesis has been doing around the map, 283 CS in 27 minutes. The 2 items, 3rd one almost complete, is going to be the Void Staff very, very soon for Nemesis.
Chachi.
He needs to start playing a little bit more aggro. He will see Chachi. Chachi, though, is still 2 levels up on Nemesis and plus more on every other member of Los Ratones. You're going to need more than 2 members to actually take him down. And Velia might actually get surrounded right here. Doesn't have flash.
There's the pillar to keep him locked down. They're going to throw the dogs in. The knock-up comes through. And that is one dead Velia. And that's the signal for Baron now. NORD are showing us that gods can bleed. They don't even need to send Jankos over. It's just going to be Chachi to solo Baron. He's got so much lifesteal. Jankos will make his way over, summon up a couple of extra dogs as we see a tower go down. I think that was a Zir tower, so nothing too major, but that would be Baron. You thought a Hole Breaker, level 17 versus level 14 top lane is going to be a problem? He's now got Baron. He's about to ding level 18. I don't think anyone's going to be able to stop Chachi in the side lanes.
We're talking about how difficult Bao's supposed to deal with. Chachi has been an absolute god this series. Now hitting level 18. First on the Rift. 3 items deep, and Baron buff, as you mentioned. However, I will say for Los Ratones, not the best soul, but still a win condition for them. 5,000 gold in deficit. They've come back from worse. They've come back from worse. We've seen their scrims. They have made it. Again, they do have champions that scale really well. Third item completed for Nemesis. I will say, I'm not sure how much I agree with that Rift Maker this time around. I know that it's a meme and it's fun, playing AP and full solo bolo and blasts. But I feel like right here, Baus, the purpose of that CHO'GATH is to be a frontline. Maybe the idea is that since the subjugate's gonna come through from Trundle anyway, might as well do as much damage as possible. But he will be thin as paper to take down.
Yeah, he will be very easy to pick up as NORD looking to finish up this tier 2 on the bot side. Chachi will be pushing up mid side as well, as actually Crowny and Velia looking to jump in onto him. Still got that subjugate. Jankos, ultimate available. We'll just jump onto Crowny. Crowny busts the shots in back. There's going to be the W from Jankos. He flashes forward. Reckless is trying to make himself in the area to save the day, but Velia has bought the ire of Chachi. As down he goes, we see Baus fall as well. Los Ratones lose 2. There's the scat of the week. Noways looking for Nemesis. Nemesis is incredibly low. No unleashed power. But NORD, there's only one more tower outside the base standing between them and victory here. There goes the final tier 2. There's only 2 tier 3s left as Crowny forces Inax to shift away. Crowny's going to do a lot of damage if he's given the opportunity. Inax is very chunked out. The problem is Chachi's inside the base. Crowny continues to try and pressure onto Inax as Chachi now has 3 members collapsing in onto him. Reckless is going to look for the slow with the Zephyr. Makes the connection. Crowny jumps forward. There's going to be the flash out from Chachi. He's actually losing a fair amount of HP. Crowny gets the resets off. That might be enough to find the kill. Crowny finds the dunk.
Meanwhile, bot lane NORD take yet another inhibitor from Los Ratones. And that's exactly what we were saying earlier. Nemesis, Crowny, they're going to have to step up. Constantly, you saw that in the midline wave. He kept jumping onto Inax, using his E to try and trade onto the Ezreal. Shutting down Chachi top lane. Huge. Nemesis and Crowny are going to have to step up massively here. Los Ratones' hopes of going to Denmark lays on their shoulders. Whoever wins this guarantees themselves at least a lower bracket final and guarantees a show in Denmark in our LAN finals. This is a huge deal of a game.
If you lose this, you are forced into that lower bracket and you have to go the long way around if you want to make it to finals. And last season, it was NORD forced out by Los Ratones into that lower bracket. So the potential revenge arc is here for NORD. Chachi's finished up a wit's end. He is almost full build on this Trundle, man. This could be the revenge for NORD, although it looks like Los Ratones fine. Jankos, nope, that ability's really broken. Don't worry, he's okay.
W.
I hate that ability. That ability needs to be burnt in a fire.
All right, Los Ratones right here. One foot in the coffin, unfortunately for them. 7,000 gold in deficit. Can Nemesis and Crowny make the impossible possible? NORD pushing without Baron is very, very difficult, especially since the other 2 waves are not synced up, which we also saw as a reoccurring theme in game number 1. When they had Baron, they were pushing. But without Baron pushing into Tristana and Nazir, it's almost impossible to get in contact with any of the towers. So Los Ratones right here, they'll take the resets and the backing off from NORD to try and establish at least some vision in their jungle to see if they can get a pick early on.
Baus is going to make his way down towards the bottom side. He's not even level 16 yet. Chachi's been 18 for ages. Baus hasn't even got his final rank in his ultimate. It is going to be an incredibly hard struggle here for Los Ratones to pull this back. And if they find the win and somehow stop NORD from taking this, which I think is an incredibly slim chance, Los Ratones have to then find another win. Like, they have to do this one more time.
Well, first, they have to go through this one to do this another time.
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate how incredibly invincible Los Ratones have been over in Winter Split and now.
I mean, they've won EMEA as well. Like, these guys have looked undefeatable. And NORD have just actually taken it to them in this series. Chachi getting caught out here by Velia, but does put the pillar down and he's going to be A-okay.
Yeah, I feel like NORD are about to pull the biggest W in the NLC ever, taking down Los Ratones, not in just a game, but in an entire series. if they can manage to close this out. They've got so much vision towards the top side of the map as well, and they can actually bait Los Ratones in the jungle. They have no vision. They have no way of checking out vision. Velia, if you walk too far forward.
Velia, you can only go so far. They jump forward. Wait! It's shut down! What a pick there! As now Velia jumps in forwards. NORD trying to see if they can find a turnaround, but being without their ADC for 44 seconds could be devastating. The big problem, though, is in the bot lane. Trundle will be making his way towards this. If NORD can just slow down Los Ratones on the Baron, Chachi could potentially end it. I'm so glad we got this picture-in-picture so we can see the action, because there is a super wave making its way towards the base, and Chachi, I don't think Nemesis alone is going to be able to hold this one off. Los Ratones have to be so quick. BAUSSI has a feast, though, so he can go for it. They're going to monsoon. They're going to heal back up. As this is a slow push forward. Jankos jumps into the pit. He steals the Baron. Jankos has done it. NORD flash away to safety. In comes the headbutt pulverize, and down goes Crowny. Los Ratones are falling apart at the seams. NORD rip them apart.
What a call right there from Jankos to dive into the pit and steal away the Baron. It is a 5 versus 3 for more than 40 seconds for Los Ratones, and they have to defend an entire base that will currently have only their Nexus tower standing after NORD have entered their base with 5 men.
No one expected this to be a 2-0. Let alone it being a NORD 2-0, but they are taking down the final inhibitor. Los Ratones, gods finally bleed. NORD just need to dot the I's and cross the T's to close this series out and knock Los Ratones into the lower bracket. They're not going for it yet, though. They're going to play this as controlled and as just as patiently as possible. Resets coming in, Dragon on the cards. Los Ratones are not out yet.
You have to remember right here, level 18 on Nemesis as well, 4 items. The gold lead is pretty much insignificant when it comes to Crowny and Nemesis. That Tristana and the Azir hurt tremendously. So if you don't go back to base, reset, grab items, grab new wards, get more vision, you might as well end up paying the big price right here. Los Ratones have so many super minions just running, flooding their base. They do have tremendously good wave clear, and let's watch this one more time. Jankos will dash through the pit and steal that one away. I mean, this is almost unacceptable by Los Ratones here. You have Janna and CHO'GATH. You need to make sure Naafiri never, ever, ever makes it through the pit. I'm going to hold on to this, though, as they're looking for Jankos.
Jankos is getting caught, but the W comes out. There's the flash away to safety. Not going to be able to pin that dog down yet, as Jankos just continues to pressure forwards. Baron in the pocket, waves crashing across the board, and Los Ratones now left, scratching their heads. The Azir tower will slow down this mid-wave, but not really enough to do much. As in they crash. It's going to have to be one hell of a fight from Los Ratones. True Shot Barrage doesn't clip onto anyone. There's the scat of the week. Velia has to throw the E up just to keep himself alive for now. But the wave after wave will start to collapse in as these towers are getting exceptionally low. A solid defense, though, through the Baron is coming out here from the side of Los Ratones. Chachi puts a pillar up just to play interrupt for the moment as Nemesis takes a little bit of poke. This tower staying alive for now. There's going to be the monsoon out from Reckless to keep his team alive. Baron still ticking away. They find a knock up onto Jankos. He's able to jump away to safety. Inax is going unbelievably low. Crowny's fighting his heart out here. Baus is getting low. Subjugate has been thrown down. Chachi's going incredibly low as well. NORD have been forced out of the base. How have Los Ratones held on?
Reminder, without Baron up minions, it's so hard to push and get in contact with towers. Look at their entire composition. Super short range. Ezreal cannot walk up because he's walking up into an Azir and a Tristana. And together, Azir and Tristana have insanely good wave clear. At CHO'GATH's abilities at this point that are fully leveled up on top of this, it's just so hard to come in contact with towers. NORD are gonna need to rely on the next Baron up in 2 minutes if they actually want to crack the base open. By then, a bunch of those inhibitors would have spawned. Not a bunch of them, all of them would have spawned at this point. Los Ratones get a second to breathe right here. This is actually pretty huge, because with all these resources running into the base of Los Ratones, a lot of them have actually completed full item build. Tristana 5 items, Azir 5 items. This is where the gold lead becomes completely unimportant for the game.
Yeah, I mean, the gold lead was always close. It was always about the map pressure. Regardless, NORD still do have the most map pressure. They even if they lose a fight, there is a lot that Los Ratones will have to do to be able to close this series out, or this game out. So they almost have I wouldn't say it's a get out of jail card for free, but it's a get out of an instant loss unless it is one hell of a mistake. Chachi's waiting for an opportunity. If they can find a pick onto one member, they may be able to muscle their way through. But Crowley on this Tristana, level 18, that means he's got the max range. Remember how much range Tristana gets? Gonna be a problem. BAUSSI is gonna get jumped onto. They're just gonna commit and full send it. Down he goes. Nowhere with the unleashed power. Secures the kill.
Oh man, everyone from Los Ratones was waiting patiently, so the base. And BAUSSI steps out. Everyone thought that the 10 death power spike was going to be it. It wasn't enough, and now Los Ratones, or the remaining members rather, have to do the dirty work. Again, for NORD, it's really, really difficult to come in contact with those towers, especially when the waves are so unsync. NORD, sync up your waves for one push, please!
Looks like this mid inhib is about to respawn. So is the top one. They took that bot inhib not that long ago, so that should stand up for a little bit longer, but the inhibs are coming back, and that is just slowing down the game once again. Los Ratones somehow holding on. Oh,
that was very scary for Crowley. This is the problem, right? You walk slightly out of your base, suddenly you've got Alistar jumping on you, Syndra Balls, Ezreal, Naafiri, Trundle. It's so difficult for Los Ratones to actually establish any control outside of their base. Now with Baron coming up, they only have vision onto Inax and Jankos, and Jankos even has actually left the pit. Wait, is no one gonna help Inax finish this Baron? NORD are looking to potentially catch Crowley, as Crowley is disrupting that mid lane wave.
Yeah, Crowley's trying his hardest, but early smite comes in from Jankos. They know it's not going to be contested. There's going to be the Baron. Soul now spawns up in 9 seconds, and Los Ratones have moved into the air. Remember, whoever secures this dragon does secure Soul. As NORD are going to step their way forward there, so True Shot Barrage goes a little bit wide. Los Ratones, they're going to secure Soul, but Jankos has to throw the W down. BAUSSI has also joined into the fight. The pillar comes out. Crowley jumps over the wall, and Chachi's actually the one under fire. Los Ratones not done yet as they do chase forwards, but BAUSSI's coming out. Jankos splashes into the pit, or into the bush. A little bit of a mistake. Chachi's inside the base, though. They're just going to stop the recalls. They're going to stop Los Ratones. Chachi onto the inhibitor. He's going to be able to take this one down. Nemesis is getting healed up by the Monsoon. That's going to be one kill picked up on the side of Los Ratones as Crowley is doing his best to put the damage down. Chachi joins into the fray, into the fight. Nemesis over the wall looking for Jankos, but Inax is able to take him down, and the resurrections are coming in. BAUSSI is going low, but Crowley remains untouched. BAUSSI will fall. Crowley slowed down. He gets a grand in his pocket, and now he's chasing forward. Crowley made the mistake. What a huge fumble from him. NORD are going to run into the base. They're going to close this series out. It was so tight towards the end, but they finally held on strong. They finally held on fast. Down go the towers. The Nexus will fall, and NORD 2-0 Los Ratones.